Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Irena Aminina. Today, I would like to present my article. The title of my article is The Use of Podcasts as Media to Improve Listening Skill for the 10th Grade Student. The content of my article, there are abstract, introduction, methods, result and discussion, and the last is conclusion. Directly to first part of my article, that is abstract. Various uses of technologies are used in language learning. For example, it is used as a medium for language learning or teaching. In listening skill, it takes a lot of practice using technology or audio. One of the most influencing media in language learning is audio media of podcasts. This research aimed to describe the use of podcast media to improve student listening skill. The types of the research is descriptive qualitative. The method of collecting data is library research. The approach to the research is carried out by reviewing a number of library materials, publication of research results, and the opinions of world leaders who studied the use of podcast learning media in teaching listening. The research variables are everything in any form determined by the researcher to be studied, so the information is obtained. Then conclusions are drawn about it. The variables used in this study are independent variable, podcast, and bound variable, listening skill. Data in the form of journals, books, encyclopedias, papers, and articles. The method of analyzing data use qualitative method. The research results show that the use of media podcast was useful and can improve student listening skill. In addition, podcasts also have a positive impact on student learning motivation. The keyword on this abstract is listening, podcast, and skill. The next part is introduction. In introduction consists background, literature review, and preview study. The background of this research is in learning English, there are 4 skills that need to be learned, namely listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Of the first skill, listening is the most important skill. That is because listening is the initial stage used in learning English. Through listening, we can learn correct pronunciation and enrich vocabulary. Learning English without listening first is impossible. However, listening is the most difficult skill to learn. Therefore, we need methods, strategy, or media that attract students in listening learning, so that student listening skill can increase to help students to easily learn this skill. The literature review. Listening is a receptive ability, which is one of the most common communication activities in everyday life. Listening is an active activity that involves understanding, receiving, and perceiving message from conversation. Prastyo, Vyanti, and Jaya, 2014. Listening can be used as a bridge to learn a language. One of the main skills that language learners need to master is having good listening skill. This is because listening activities are quite related to the process of communication. Hadijah, 2016. In listening skill, it takes a lot of practice using technology or audio. Students agree that their understanding of listening skill improved significantly after doing a lot of practice. Aronoth 2014. According to Abdurrahman Basalama and Widodo 2018, podcasts are record file in the form of audio or video upload to a website, so that website user or podcast listener can listen to it anytime and anywhere. Besides that, podcast content can also be downloaded freely. And the previous study, Ustara 2018 conducted experimental observation with the aim of seeing the effect of using podcasts in improving listening and speaking performance. From the research, it can be concluded that podcasts can convey many advantages in teaching listening and speaking for EFL learners. Next is method. Qualitative descriptive is the type of the research used in this study, namely describing the effect of using podcast media on improving students' listening skill. The data explains and describe are the opinion of the expert. The qualitative approach used in this study is expected to provide comprehensive facts about the effect of using podcast media on improving student listening skill. Library research is the method used in collecting data in this study. Library research is research activities are carried out with how to collect information and data with the help of various material. What is in the library is like a book references, result of previous research similar, articles, notes, and various journals related to the problem to be solved. And the method of analyzing data uses qualitative method. The next part is result and discussion. The learning media. Media is the plural form of the Latin medium, which means something in the middle or a tool. Media learning is every tool, both hardware as well as software, used as a communication medium to connect and provide information. More specifically, the notion of media in process teaching and learning tends to be interpreted more as a graphic, photographic, or electronic tool to be able to understand, manage, and rearrange visual or verbal information. Podcasts. Podcasts are downloadable audio media or video files from the internet. Podcast is a media that can be used on various electronic devices such as mobile phone, laptop, tablet, or MP3 players. Podcasts have a variety of content that can improve English language skill, especially in listening learning. This statement is supported by Widodo and Gunawan. They found that podcast media provide many benefits, especially in student listening comprehension. Podcast media can enrich student vocabulary, stimulate students to be more imaginative, and also help students become better listeners. In addition, podcasts can make students more creative, confident, and can motivate students in improving their English listening skill. Abdurrahman et al. Also conclude that in their findings, the use of podcasts show positive results in student listening comprehension in teaching ELF. More correctly, podcasts can improve listening and student understanding. From the studies above, it shows that podcasts are very useful in teaching and learning process, especially learning English. In addition, podcast media can also improve student listening skill and also motivate students to learn. This is because the material and content on podcasts can attract student attention to learn. The use of podcasts is also very easy and flexible, making it easier for students to learn anywhere and anytime. Listening skill. Listening skill is the ability to concentrate on what other people are saying and reading. Through listening activities, students acquire a grammatical vocabulary, besides of course good pronunciation. So, the ability to listen or listening is considered quite important in learning to teach English. In the process, listening skill require supporting media that can help someone in learning a language, especially English. The media is useful for generating student learning motivation. From some of the expert opinion mentioned above, it is clear that listening is an ability that must be mastered by students or English learners. This also proves that the ability to listen is a very important lesson and must be mastered by students at various levels of education. And the last part is conclusion. Based on the result and discussion described above, The researchers conclude that podcast media can improve student listening skill. Interesting features and content on podcasts can also motivate students to learn English, especially in learning listening. Students also agree that podcasts help them improve their listening skills. Besides being easy to use, podcasts are also available on various websites on the internet, making them easy to use anywhere and anytime. By using podcasts as a learning medium, students will get many other benefits, such as being more confident, rich in vocabulary, understanding grammar, and also increasing their speaking skills. Podcasts play an important role in improving student listening skills. Based on the finding of this study, the researcher would like to propose several suggestions. Podcast media is a media that right to apply in listening class. It helps teachers to improve student listening skills and also provide learning materials. Therefore, podcast media is recommended to be applied in listening class. That's all for me. I do apologize for every single mistakes and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.